welcome. So nice to see everybody. I know we normally get Sally chairing these meetings. That has moved over to myself as the place-based lead for St Helens. So I get this amazing job and it releases Sally to do some other bits. However, saying that, she is in the room with me. She's not got a laptop. So I'm sure, oh, hang on. Oh, you'll have to get in. There you go. Harry Potter moment. Hello, everyone. And just like that, she disappears. So yeah, what I would like to say is just, if you can, there's not that, I wouldn't say there's huge amounts. So I think it probably will be beneficial if I just kind of, if I shout out your name, if you can just say who you are and which organisation you're with, if that's okay. Don't need anything else because we'll do updates later on. Is everybody all right with that one? Great. So I'm going to start with Jackie Carpenter because you're in my top left. It's like celebrity squares. So you're going to go first, if that's okay, Jackie?
Yeah, Jackie Carpenter, Service Manager for Together for Mental Wellbeing Community Support.
Thanks. So Kim from Age UK.
I am Kim Smith from Age UK Mid Mersey, based in St Helens, Living Well Officer.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kim. Jill Ellison, and there's two of you in yours, so you're doubling up.
On you first.
So I'm Sam Lewis. I am Halton St Helens VCA. Also, I'm Nurse in Cheshire Cancer Alliance.
I'm Jill Ellison. I work for Halton and St Helens VCA, development worker for the Connected Tip project.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Sam. Jill Healy, sorry.
Hiya, Jill Healy, Community Development Officer for Children's Centres.
Thanks, Jill. Kathy R.
I'm Kathy Riley. I work for the SVP, which is the St Vincent de Paul Society. So I'm the Membership Support Officer and I'm cover from Preston to the Isle of Man.
Wow, small patch then.
This is my first time, so I've not been online before with you. So thank you for the invitation. I have to leave at 11:30, I'm afraid, but
that's no problem at all. Kathy, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Yeah, thank you.
Mike.
Hello, Mike Bagshaw, Halton and St Helens VCA, Community Connector in St Helens.
Thanks, Mike. Rose.
Davis, I'm Volunteer Director at Lucham House Community Cinema.
Thanks, Rose. Martine?
Morning, everyone. I'm Martine McClear. I'm Quality Lead at Change, Grow, Live, CGL, St Helens.
Good to see you, Martine. Simon? Cousins?
Morning, everyone. I'm Simon Cousins. I'm an Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Officer with St Helens Council.
Thanks, Simon. Michael Pryor.
Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you. I work for The Reader. We set up shared reading groups right across the Northwest, in fact, the country.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Anne-Marie.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie Horton. I'm the manager at Homestat St Helens.
Good to see you, Anne-Marie. Tom.
Thanks.
Morning, I'm Tom from Powered by Hip Hop UC Crew and Shakespeare North Playhouse.
Good to see you, Tom. Colleagues at the Chamber?
Hi, I'm Rachel Wellens. I'm the Events, Education and Partnership Manager at the Chamber.
And I'm Mike Farley, Workforce Development Advisor at St Helens Chamber.
Good to see you both. Thanks for that. Matt?
I'm Matt Morton from I'm the Director of Development at YMCA St Helens. I apologise for the coughing. I didn't realise I was not muted, but yeah.
Thanks, Matt. No problem. Elaine?
Hi, I'm Elaine Hardy. I'm Head of Market Relationships for St Helens Council. Thanks to Jill for inviting me along today. Just going forward, I'm going to have a lead on working with the voluntary section on co-production. So, hi, everyone.
Good to have you with us. Thanks for that. Apologies if I say this wrong, Ibitsum.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ibtisam Midris. I'm the Community Engagement Officer for Maximus UK.
Great. Thanks for joining us. Brilliant. Ben Murray.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben Murray. I'm Policy and Research Manager at St Helens Council. Apologies, my camera's not working. I'm not sure what's going on with it. Monday morning, you know how it is.
Definitely. Thanks, Ben. And last but no means least, Kate.
Hi, I'm Kate Birkenhead. Like Kathy Riley, I work for St Vincent de Paul Society. I cover Cheshire, Shropshire, the Wirral, and also Halton. I'm new in the organisation, so I thought I should dial into this as well.
Great, thanks, Kate. We do have one for Halton that actually is every month, so we'll make sure.
Right.
We'll make sure we'll get those details over to you, Kate. So you can actually join.
Could you? So this doesn't cover Halton, this one.
No, this one's for St Helens, but it'll always be great
right,
to
okay.
kind of have an idea. But we do have colleagues that cover Halton, definitely, and they have one even more regular. Theirs is every month. That's what they chose.
Okay.
For them. So that's good.
Thank you.
Great to see you all. That's fantastic. We've got a couple of presentations. I did bob the agenda on a bit earlier. So we've got Simon Cousins, who's from the St Helens Council, who's the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Lead, who's going to just do us an update around the strategy. So
Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Officer with St Helens Council. I know many of you, but most of you I have not met before. So my job's to make sure that the council's meeting its duties under the Equality Act, and that includes duties around the community and us as a service provider, as well as us as an employer. And the St Helens Council is an update on a strategy that we started in 2022, and we're going through to 2025. And the strategy, as you can see, is a commitment to make a welcoming, inclusive and safe environment. That's the vision for people who are working with us and people who are we're delivering services or support or any kind of project with. And you can see that we have certain cultural values, including collaboration and integrity, innovation and trust. And that's the basis of the councils. It's not the equality strategy. That's the basis of the council strategy. And we definitely want to ensure that our workforce is equipped to be able to deliver accessible, safe and inclusive services to our diverse community. So that's one. So we look at ourselves as an employer, as a deliverer of services to our community, and also as a partner. So a partner with Liverpool City Region and a partner with our other colleagues in the borough. Here's a kind of map from 2022 through to 2023. And you can see that of 2023, and we're progressing, we're reviewing, we're using a staff survey and resident survey, and so we're developing a resident survey this year and also a staff survey. One of the key things that we can use as a performance indicator to know whether people feel that we're accessible, inclusive and safe is the experience of people. And so survey asking questions about people's experience is we feel the most effective way of understanding whether we're achieving our commitment. And then we can publish information. As you can see, here's a kind of chart of the kind of things that we're looking at. This year we're going for Disability Confident Leader, which is the kind mark under the Department of Work and Pensions. It's level 3. You'll see that on a pink level 3 Disability Confident Leader. I don't know whether you can see my cursor as it's moving across the screen. If you can, then that's good. If not, I'm just going to have to describe where I am. So that's on. We've got all these different tasks. It was phased. We started as an employer before we started into the community, and a lot of that was around being able to have data from the census, make sure that what we're monitoring and what we're reviewing in relation to service delivery, we're able to have some form of benchmark that corresponds and correlates to the profiles of the community when we're looking at targets. And that could be targets around employment, or service access or satisfaction. And as every organisation, there's lots of different information that we're receiving. We'll do community engagement. As Elaine mentioned, there could be co-creation opportunities. And we've got, as you know, we've got vast departments. We're looking at children's services, public health, adult social care and health. So it covers the whole of the council. And we're going towards, now when you see the red quality framework for local government, there's 3 levels. Level 1 is we're aware that we are a local government organisation and that we do have equality duties. We've met level 1. Level 2 is that we can demonstrate that we are beginning to be accessible to the community and that there's equitable accessibility. So we're heading towards level 2 as an organisation, and we hope to achieve that by the summer of 2024. See, this is the big indicator. The local authority as a council has to set, under the Equality Act, objectives. It's called measurable equality objectives. These are based on the analysis we already have of where we are as an organisation. And one of our measurable equality objectives will be this Local Government Association's Equality Framework with its 3 levels. We've also got measurable equality objectives as an employer, and that's around representation and experience of our workforce. So it's not just enough to have a representative workforce. We also have to have a workforce that feels equitably supported, motivated, and are experiencing having a positive experience at work. And so there's an experiential side to equalities. So we've got these 2, level 1 of the equality framework. I'm just like to update you about that. And then the disability confident employer and the leadership status. There's 3 levels for disability confident employer. We're at level 2. And we'd like to go for level 3, which really is then us being externally validated as an employer where disabled people are experiencing equitable experience of a safe, inclusive and accessible work environment. However, I'm going to focus on the equality framework for local government, EFLG, progress against all. So there's 17 areas of excellence within this framework over 4 modules. Understanding communities is the module that I'll focus on today. But we also have one about our organisation as a leader and a partner, also as a service provider and as an employer. So you can see how our strategy, with its focus on employment, service provision and partnership, mirrors we're able to measure our progress against those commitments using this framework. Developing is where we are. We can prove that we know we have duties. We can prove that we know we are a service provider and an employer. And you can see, I don't expect you can share this presentation. You can take a screenshot. If you're watching the video feedback, you can pause it and say, oh, Simon, I'm very interested in that performance monitoring that you claim that you can do. I'm very happy to talk with anyone about any part of it. But we'll be looking at module 1. I know it's very small, so I'm going to draw that out. But you can see that as a self-monitoring organisation, we feel confident that we are able to provide evidence. And I'm of the old school of don't just tell me, show me some evidence that we're achieving this across our organisation. The key areas, if you look, collecting and sharing information, module 1 at the top, analysing and using data, effective community engagement, fostering good community relations, and participating in public life, I've listed them. They're the community module. These are the things that we know as an organisation we need to do in partnership and collaboration with our community. So it isn't just about the St Helens Council collecting, it's about us sharing. Have I finished time? Is that ding dong that you've got 5 minutes left, Simon, or 1 minute left?
No, not at all. We've had one of our members kind of come out and then they've had to come back in. So okay. Don't worry, Simon, honestly.
So I'm going to go through each one of those and show you what a field with a high, there's 144 areas of evidence that you have to show in level 1, 169 areas of evidence in level 2. I'm not going to bombard you with them. What I'm going to show you are what I think the key indicator is, that we are able to gather information and publish information about the community. And I don't know whether you know St Helens Local Insight. It's a web page that the council have developed, possibly with partners as well, and it has a huge source of information and reports. There's a link to it here in the presentation. If you want to know about the profile of the community, here is where you can get it. That's where I go to have a look at the profile information. It includes the census data that's been released as well. Analysing the information we have, and systems are developed. Level 1 isn't that we're brilliant. Level 1 is that we understand we need to have a foundation on which to build. And definitely we do have systems that are developed that provide information. You can think about our joint strategic needs assessment around health and social care, indices of multiple deprivation, which measures 6 areas, including things like employment, skills, housing, and health. And we can go, there's links to these things. Liverpool City Region produce a cost of living index. If you're involved with St Helens together with the, which I'm sure most of you are, where you're looking at reducing inequalities, you'll be using things like the indices of multiple deprivation and cost of living. We also have an impact assessment tool as an organisation that requires us to engage in or record the impact of our proposed decisions. Before we make a decision, we need to understand what the impact is on people who share different characteristics that are protected under the Equality Act. And often that requires service providers to consult. So there's an element of consultation and community engagement required within our quality impact assessment tool. So it's about having the structure, not about having the evidence. Effective community engagement. Well, this is part of it, I'm sure. And the VCA's meeting that we have today is part of the community engagement structure, but you'll be involved in so many other things. So we have a community engagement strategies account, which will be embedded and delivered. You can see that there's already things like the Inequalities Commission and St Helens together, which are all involved, many of you are involved with, which are about that effective community engagement, understand what the community needs are, and being able to meet them in a way that is accessible, safe, and inclusive as partners together. Good relations. Definitely the safer community partnership is where the good relations or monitoring of the tensions in the community, which is at level 1, having that ability to monitor. The community safety partnership is where things like hate crime is monitored. And then participation in public life. And that is asking not just about council and council members. You can see our profile of the council there. It's about understanding how people get involved in volunteering opportunities, etc. So that's level 1. Come on to level 2, it's a bit of a different story. This level 2 will be for us about learning together with partners and making sure that our delivery of our community engagement strategy will be crucial. But the questions change. Collecting and sharing information is about the fact that we are being able to use the information and share the information across partners. So making sure that you have that local insight. So we've definitely got census diversity data. We've also developed an equality. There is no such thing as equality monitoring. But whatever monitoring you're doing, if you build in a diversity profile of whoever you're monitoring, it gives you the opportunity to explore the outcomes for different groups, men and women, people from ethnic minorities, people who are disabled, people from minority sexual orientations or gender identities, and be able to identify what they're saying, their experience, And where a local authority can demonstrate that there's disadvantage, unmet need, or disproportionate outcome, it can use positive action. It can take steps to put things right for people who are experiencing those things. But it can only do that if it has the evidence, which is why it's important to collect and share information and to use that information when we're engaging with the community. Because we're only allowed to use positive action where we have evidence of disadvantage. And analysing using information, that's how it's done. We definitely have a community impact assessment tool. Every single proposed decision, every single commission, every single review that we do as an organisation should be informed by an assessment of its impact on the community, which includes an understanding of the profile and experiences of people who will be affected. So it's about being able to analyse and use information to achieve that commitment that people will experience a safe, inclusive and accessible services from the council. Community engagement. Definitely we have the community engagement strategies. So integrated mechanisms and structures which involve scrutinising the experience of people and engaging with all communities, including people from underrepresented groups. How do you know if a group's underrepresented if you're not monitoring? So we do have individual service engagement, which colleagues on you'll have already been involved with, but we do also have that community impact assessment duty to consult. Fostering good relations in the community. There it's about promoting the valuing of difference and diversity, as well as monitoring the tensions. And we've recently had Pride, we've recently had Refugee Action Week, we know we're coming up to Black History Month. These are opportunities for us, and we do share as organisations to promote the valuing of diversity in our community.
Simon, can I just, are we all right if we got 5 more minutes? Is that
yes,
okay?
I'm nearly finished.
Fantastic.
There's participating in public life. So there's the opportunities, things like becoming a volunteer, things like becoming a school governor. So where we're working in partnership together to promote volunteering, what do we know about the profiles of who does volunteer? And what can we do to ensure that that participation is inclusive? Look at that. Stop share. Is that okay? So that's where we are. And I don't know whether I've gone and muted myself. I could do that very easily. But about integrating inclusion, access and safety into the ways that we engage with together with our community. And I'm sure we got plenty.
Thank you, Simon. That's amazing. Can everybody hear me? Because it's just saying that my internet connection is a little unstable. We're all right. If we all get booted out because my internet goes off, I apologise. Please try to just log back in because I'll restart it again if that's okay. Can I just say thank you, Simon, for that? What is, it's not a small subject, is it? Not a small subject matter when we're talking about equality, diversity, inclusion. But it was good to get that oversight. And we will make sure people can have the presentation, which Simon said we're able to kind of share, which is good. I think a couple of things that I picked up on before I ask if anybody's got any questions. Obviously, for us, it's about making sure not only yourselves as a council are equipped, but it's just a note to ourselves as organisations and a sector that to make sure that we're equipped as an employer, but also as a deliverer of services, and just to be reminded of our duties as well, because sometimes we all just kind of cracking on and we're doing our best, but actually sometimes it's just about taking stock and looking at, are we safe, inclusive and accessible for all within our community? So thank you for that reminder. And I think the other thing that I picked up as well was it wasn't just about that tick box as well of making sure, we have got people within our organisation or even accessing our services that are representative of our communities that we serve, but it's about the experience that they have, not necessarily that they're involved, but also that their experience. So again, it's just being reminded of that. Just to quickly point as well within that presentation, that local insights that Simon pointed out on one of the slides, it's highlighted as a link. Please do use that if you don't already. It's a great place to get some of that data around the area that we live in, and you can drill it down into kind of those locality places as well within St Helens Borough. So please just go and have a look on that once you kind of get the presentation. I think just a quick question from me, Simon, is really, I noticed through that, and I think the thing I heard was it's self-assessed as a council. You self-assess against all of that framework. For me, I just wondered, one is, have I heard that right? And two, is there actually an opportunity of having some kind of I want to say some kind of peer scrutiny on that, just so you're not marking your own homework, as it were, in that way? How else can you be held accountable, and ourselves as well as part of that process? So that's my question really before I open it up.
That's fantastic. It's something to explore. One of the areas where we will be looking at external validation is the disability confident employer. And yes, there's definitely opportunities under the equality framework for local government for peer review, peer assessment, which we will be exploring. We're having a new equality group as an organisation, which meets first time later today. And it's part of the things that we'll be able to start discussing as we go forward. Level 1 is having a foundation. Level 2 is looking at how are we going to build on, and where, and it's a great point about external or somebody else verifying the position that we state we are. And it all links back to duty. If you remember that one of the key areas where we can be scrutinised at any point in time is a decision. If somebody's unhappy with a decision that we are making as an organisation, then people have every right to ask for the evidence. And that should include the equality impact implications of the assessment tool, the analysis, and that can be all scrutinised as well. But that's different to having a formal. I think when we get to look at our community engagement strategy and look at the ways that we are engaging together, not just across equalities, but as an organisation, I think that these are the kind of questions that we can look forward to. I mean, I'd love to see people panels of some kind, disability panel maybe, or something where there's that co-creation, co-scrutiny inside of the organisation. But as we go forward, I'm sure these things, they can just be developed under the equalities. It's part of an organisational structure.
That's brilliant.
Maybe it's there already, and it could be, and I just could be that I'm ignorant of it. That's the other risk you have when you're talking to an individual officer, is that they might not know everything about what's going on in the organisation already arranged.
I think we're all guilty of that. I've been in the organisation here 23 years, and as much as some people think I probably know a lot of things, there's far more that I don't know, definitely. So definitely with that. Any questions for Simon while he's with us today?
Yeah, can I just speak on the evidence for volunteering? Because my job is to recruit the membership of the volunteering for the SVP. So we've been recruiting volunteers for 190 years. That's how long the SVP has been going. And so, yeah, we do have all the evidence. We do have profiles and so forth. And I speak from the heart here, because I've been volunteering in my life since the 1980s. I've always found that that's the best part of my job, is the volunteer side. So I'd be really interested in talking to you about that, because I think we need more emphasis on that, especially in the diversity, so that everybody feels included and feels that they can participate, even if it's putting the kettle on for somebody. You know, so thank you very much. It was great to hear that, and it'd be great to pick up all that paperwork to spread it. So thank you.
Thanks, Kathy. And yeah, and it's definitely a key part. I know when I was listening to Simon, and we're going to touch a little bit on the St Helens Together strategy later. It's a key thread throughout all of that strategy. So we'll definitely be kind of working with the sector to kind of look at that in a little bit more depth anyway. So definitely a good point to make. Any other questions for Simon at all? I'm not seeing any hands, Simon, so I think you got off lightly, mate, there. All I would say is, Simon, please feel free to stay with us if you want, but I'm equally kind of conscious that you've got other stuff that you need to be doing. So I'll leave it up to yourself whether you want to stay or kind of you need to go. Is that okay?
Thank you for the opportunity to just present back where we're up to as an organisation in our equality strategy.
No worries. You're always welcome, Simon. Certainly on a subject like that, we just need to be aware of it and have that updated. So thank you. So we've got our other colleagues with us from the Chamber today. Even though there are two of them, I can't see either of them on the screen at the minute. Oh, you're both there because you're sharing the same screen. So I'm pleased to kind of, welcome you both. And I know we're going to look at certainly around apprenticeships, but also the adult education budget that you hold and how us as a sector can kind of make the most of those opportunities. So it's essentially about information. I don't know whether you have a presentation or you just want to kind of talk to us today. It's entirely up to you. But it'd be really good to kind of hear from our colleagues there. So I am going to hand over. Is that okay?
Yeah, we have got a couple. It's not a presentation as such, but just the two documents that we really support what Mike's going to talk about around training. I'm just going to try and get that up.
Yeah, you're welcome to share.
So basically, at the Chamber, we obviously provide a lot of support for local businesses and the local community, but we do offer, we have a training side, a training department, training services, we call it. Part of what we do then is we offer business training, which comes with the format of apprenticeships for local businesses. So there are a few misconceptions with apprenticeships. People still seem to think that it's for 16 to 18-year-olds, and there's only so many things you can do with them, so certain levels you can go to, but apprenticeships are open to anyone of any age. They're a great way to recruit new talent into your business, but they're also a great way to upskill your current workforce as well. So anyone can do an apprenticeship of any age. They just need to be in the job role, and we need to take into account prior learning. So at the Chamber, we offer a professional services sector. So if you can see there on the screen, everything from AAT level 2, 3, and we will be offering the level 4 soon. Business administration, customer service, team leading. Unfortunately, we don't offer the digital marketing and improvement technician anymore. So just waited for updated documents to come through. All the other sectors that we offer then. So the adult care, we tend to run from level 2 to level 5, and CYP as well, which is the children, young people, families for residential care. We offer the level 4 and level 5 within that. So as I mentioned, anyone can access them. Small, medium businesses we work with. We also work with levy businesses. This is across the whole Liverpool City region. Just need to take into account as a charity then. Obviously, you need to have a PAYE set up if you want to take on an apprentice, and you need to set up a digital account as well, which is free to do. Now, we do work with levy businesses across the Liverpool City region. Currently, there is an expression of interest form that's circulating. So if you're a small charity or a small business and you think you may not be able to fund an apprenticeship, you can apply for funding from a levy company who've not used their existing pot. And then that can be accessed to you, which enables you to pay for the apprenticeship. I don't want to go too deep into the funding side of it. But basically, if you take on a 16 to 18-year-old, the apprenticeship's fully funded by the government. And as an employee, you receive £1,000 incentive payment for taking on that young person. If you employ someone who's 19 plus, or put someone on an apprenticeship who currently works with who's 19 plus, you would have to pay the employer's 5% contribution, which is standard across all apprenticeships. And that would only be 95% funded by the government for you. With the apprenticeships that we offer, we run from level 2 to level 5. The length of time on programme varies to what level you're doing. So typically a level 2 is 12 months, Going up to a level 5 would be 24 months on programme. To support what we currently offer with apprenticeships is our adult education budget. So just pull this document up for you. These are free short courses that we offer from the Chamber. So there is criteria to be able to access these. You need to be a resident of the Liverpool City region. You need to have lived in the UK for the past 3 years, and you need to be 19 plus. Lots and lots and lots of different courses that are accessible. Some as simple as half a day course, some might run over a couple of weeks. These are available via our website as well. So if you look at it, what is it, under business services, is it? Free short courses. You can access any of these. So it would just be contacting the Chamber, having a chat to Joe, I think it is, Joe Alka, who deals with it, and he'll just go through the criteria with you to make sure that you are eligible. But there's lots of things. You don't need any prior knowledge for any of these courses. If you just want to look at doing one just out of a matter of interest, or if you want to do one to upskill yourself, that's totally fine. There's no pre-knowledge criteria required for them. You would just do the level that you think is suitable for you. So we do have entry-level courses going up to level 3.
I'm just trying to show all the different short courses. This document is on the Chamber website, but I just wanted to sort of show you some that you may not think we deliver. So there's things from your basic IT skills, marketing courses. We've got beauty, which is not what we do. And then we've got things further down. I think I might have gone past them actually. So manual skill courses as well, just wanted to highlight that. So anything you're looking for, basically, if you go onto the Chamber website and look at this document, it may be that the courses you can have funded places on any of these courses as long as you meet the criteria, which is 19 plus and you live in the Liverpool City region. Again, Annie, we can share this with you and you can send this out, or we can send a link round to everybody who's on the call.
Yeah, that's brilliant, Rachel. If you can share the document and we can include it as part of disseminating that information, that's brilliant.
Yeah, there's just so many courses that the brochure, as you can see, is never ending. So there's just so much on offer through the Chamber, and a lot of the training does take place within the Chamber building as well, which we're just in the town centre.
I think going forward after this, if there is any interest within regards to the apprenticeships or the free short courses, then you can contact myself or Rachel, and I can arrange to come out and have a chat with you and do like a kind of a skills needs analysis. We can look at what will be beneficial for you, or if you're working with any other partners or businesses that you think may be interested, because we do deliver, as we said, across the Liverpool City region. Is that okay? Has anyone got any questions?
That's brilliant. If you just want to stop sharing so I can, I think there's a couple of questions come through. That's fantastic. I think from my point of view, I think it's great to highlight the free training and learning that's on offer. And I know obviously we've always had a really good relationship with yourselves and our colleagues at the Chamber. And it's always about what's on offer to the sector rather than who should be delivering what, as far as we're concerned. So it's great that you're utilising your adult education budget that's coming there in order to share that wider. So I know we've got a hands up from our colleague Jill. So I'm just going to hand over if you've got a question for the team.
Yeah, it was me. It wasn't Jill. On those courses, the short courses that are free, are they means tested? Like, do they have to be on benefits or anything like that? Or is it just you live in the city region and you're over there?
Yeah, it's just 3 points on the criteria that we mentioned: live in the Liverpool City region, 19 plus, and I've lived in the UK for the past 3 years.
Okay.
So these courses can be used by staff who are currently employed, or they can be accessed by people who are looking to get into work as well to help support them.
Brilliant. Thank you.
That's great. Any other questions at all? No. I think for me as well, I think what was really important is we highlight this, the thing around apprenticeships, because you're right. I think there is a bit of kind of stereotyping and understanding in terms of preconceptions of what we think apprenticeships are. So I was I was surprised to hear how broad it is and everything, and what's available in terms of the funding, because that was the other part of it. It's almost like, even though we've got the offer of apprenticeships, sometimes certainly for voluntary organisations, and even more so when they're smaller and they're self-organised and run, is the cost of that apprenticeship. But actually what you're saying is there's potentially some levy money hanging around that funding can be kind of access to support that. So that's always good. So I think, just as a shout out to everybody on the call, is if you're unsure, if you're interested but you're unsure whether you meet the criteria or it fits in that, is just to have that conversation with our colleagues at the Chamber, and obviously you can work out yourselves then whether it fits or it doesn't fit, or what might be more suitable. But certainly when it comes to all those short courses, one thing that we get as a sector is a lot of kind of requests for different things, and those are very much kind of personal development stuff, as well as those skill sets that we all utilise within our work in terms of IT, and certainly the way the world's going with digital stuff and social media and that digital marketing. I do think obviously that's something that we get to hear quite a lot. It's something they don't necessarily always have time to do. So having those short courses available are brilliant. So I'm sure I'll be having a look through and kind of refreshing some of my skills with some of those. So just to say thank you for that, and we will send it out. Thank you.
No problem.
Brilliant. And again, same call out to yourself. If you want to stay on or you need to leave, then we'll leave that up to you. But just to say thank you for your time this morning. So yeah, there's just a couple of things there. We were going to look at the St Helens Together strategy, have an update of our Connected project, just a quick kind of shout out for the different networks that we have in St Helens and how to get connected in. Bit of an update around our volunteer awards, health inequalities, shared prosperity fund and capacity building, and star standards. So a lot of it is potentially one or a few of us kind of from our team talking, but I'm conscious I don't want that to kind of take up lots of time, because we do need to hear from yourselves as well. Now I am going to ask, but please feel free to say no. I know our colleague Ben is on the call, Ben Murray, and I have got the St Helens Together strategy on there, and I wondered whether you would mind giving an update on that, seeing as obviously, you know, it's kind of being led obviously from the council with our kind of partnership. So is that all right with yourself?
Yeah, absolutely fine. And yeah, that's no probs. So I think it's probably worth starting by saying we was meant to have our reference group, because we're going to try and re-establish the VCFSE reference group to go alongside this strategy. And we was meant to have it on Friday, but it got cancelled due to a number of people on the group having COVID and stuff like that. But in terms of where we're at with the strategy, we're currently just doing the first review of the strategy since we kind of launched it in 2021. So I think that the strategy's kind of found there's been a lot of progress, especially kind of, I think some of the positives that have kind of come out of the review is around some of the work we've been doing on cost of living. And I think it's especially kind of outlined some of the partnership work and that we've been doing with the voluntary sector together to kind of tackle some of the issues that have arose as part of the cost of living crisis. So the kind of review's nearly there. I think the kind of process of this is it'll be going to the VCSFE reference group first, and they'll be kind of getting the first view of that. And then what I can do is perhaps once it's been there and been approved by that group, we can kind of circulate it more widely with this group. So you guys can kind of have a look at some of the key points in there and stuff like that. There's quite a lot of stuff in there, Annie, isn't there? So I don't want to kind of take up too much time just kind of going through all of it. Is there anything you want to add, Annie? Is there anything you want to say on that?
I think just from, let me just kind of go on this. I think from my point of view, just for those of you that's probably not been involved from 2021, the St Helens Together strategy came out of all kind of the work that kind of was not only just created as part of the COVID response and through all of that that time when it was locked down and all of the stuff that needed to happen to make sure people shielded and got what they needed and were kind of their needs were met as such. But equally, I think it built on what was already kind of happening before then around all the amazing work that goes on in the sector. So for those of you, when we say VCFSE, it's voluntary community faith and social enterprise sector. So it's everything, and all of us from the sector are included in that. And and we'll share the strategy. And when Ben's talking about the reference group, it's that reference group. I think that they're actually kind of naming that to the St Helens Together partnership, and it'll have the likes of ourselves on it as kind of the conduit organisation into the sector. There'll be other key networks from across the borough as well as local authority on there that will be almost kind of holding ourselves to account really around an action plan that will be developed to make sure some of those things happen, and the strategy progresses, and it kind of like essentially lives out what we set it to do. So this forum will be a place where we'll kind of bring those updates and we'll feed that into that partnership as well. So, and the documents, when they've been reviewed, we will circulate further. So I don't know if there's anything else from yourself, Sally, that you can know. So I think it's just to make you aware that there is a strategy that involves our sector quite heavily and the work that we do. But aside of, in addition to that, there's the action plan that's being developed. So when that's kind of there, we will share it with people. So then you can start to have a more meaningful input into it. And we can kind of take some of those kind of views and points back to that partnership group for those action plans. So it'd be great to just get people's feedback as and when we can kind of share that document. Has anybody seen sight of it? You can't find it on the local authority's website for now. I just wonder, just by a show of hands, if anybody's seen the previous version.
Annie, I've just put a link in the chat. I have found a link to the previous version.
Oh, brilliant. So if anybody wants to get the link in the chat, they can, but equally so I'll kind of download that and make sure it's available in any of the notes that you get from today, which would be good. Thanks for that, Ben. Any questions about that one? No. Jill, I know, again, I'm putting you on the spot. Apologies, and you can quite kind of go, no, I'm not doing it. But essentially, you're our senior development worker for the St Helens Connected project. So this is a project that's funded by the lottery, and we have a team in Halton and we have a team here in St Helens. Jill's our development worker here in St Helens, and lots of work happening around trying to connect those organisations at those levels in communities and kind of get them fed into kind of supporting each other. So I just wondered, Jill, if you can give us an update where we're up to with that.
We're doing quite a lot at the moment. The team, there's three of us and the two connectors, and Mike is here, he's one of them, and Lynn isn't, she's off this week. They're going out and about in the community talking to our members to identify any needs that they might have. Do they need any help with anything? And then they bring it back in as a team. We discuss how we can take it forward, if there's anything I can help with, whether it's helping with funding bids or looking at promoting volunteering for their service or looking at the strategies. There's loads of different ways that we can help. We've also got the Community Centre Managers Network meeting, and the next one is on Wednesday. We're aware that we might not have included everybody in the mailing list for that, because what we're looking for, it's not just your traditional community centre that we all think about. It's any centre that might have rooms for hire for the public to use, that might have classes that can maybe hire for parties, etc. So there's quite a lot of people on that mailing list. But if you think we've missed you off or anybody else, let us know. And we're always looking for guests at that meeting as well. Like I said, the next one is on Wednesday from 12:30 till 2:30. If anybody thinks that it's something that they could benefit from or would like to come along to at a later date as a guest speaker to give us any information or find out more about what we do, just let us know. We're also looking to organise a funders fair, which I've just got some dates through. I've been trying to get some dates for a while that I'm hoping, if Annie agrees, when we've had a discussion, it will be at the beginning of November. And if we can get those plans sorted pretty quickly, we'll let everybody know. That'll be put out on our usual channels and networking to let you know about that. So it'll just be an opportunity for funders to come along and sell their wares, basically, and for people to find out about funding streams and what's appropriate for them to apply for, maybe get some tips and hints as well, and some new ideas. Let's have a look what else we're doing. We're also responding to the needs of quite a lot of people who attended the Community Centre Managers Network meeting, who said that after the pandemic, they'd had real problems hiring out rooms. So where there'd been activities and classes and exercise groups, etc., that had just really fallen off. So there's a lot of spaces available for hire. So rather than people having to search around everywhere trying to find suitable rooms for training, or it might be a one-off event, or it could be an ongoing activity, we're going to be putting, well, Mike as well, predominantly, is going to be putting together an online and maybe a paper resource that shows all the different rooms, the sizes, what's available, and the access and the prices. So hopefully we can get that renewed quite regularly as well and add to it. So there's always some awareness of what's available in the town for people to hire. Is there anything I've missed, Annie?
No, that's a really good oversight. I think the one thing I think is really important that we highlight you've been doing, because you've worked your socks off with, is we got involved in 2 surveys. We got asked to kind of, one was around loneliness and isolation, and the other one was around serious violent crime. And it was almost like kind of getting people's just understanding and awareness of what that was and so on. So again, I don't know whether you just want to kind of give a bit of a feedback of that.
Well, the loneliness survey got, we've had quite a lot of responses, and we've had to extend the deadline because we know that some of the community centres and other groups who we've given paper copies to are still completing them. So if anybody would like to access the online copy, we're going to be leaving it open for a few more days, because the responses are all very, very similar when we've looked through them about actually having resources that people, sorry, that's the VCA WhatsApp. Don't know who is in the room who's messaging. That a lot of people at community centres did the survey and said that if it wasn't for the centres, they'd be really isolated and lonely, would be worried about the mental health. But we know there's a lot of people out there who don't access those centres and classes and activities. And so there's obviously a big gap from awareness for actually, and then people actually being able to leave, go to places on their own, whether it's physical barriers or emotional barriers. So it's something we've been discussing quite a bit in the office about how we might take that forward and involve other groups who may be developing, I don't know, some plan, some strategy to make sure that everybody has access to either education or leisure activities or social activities in their community to alleviate the isolation and loneliness that obviously can lead to mental health problems. So like I say, the results aren't all through yet, and we will be putting them into a report. And we've also been involved in a survey around serious violent crime, that once we get rid of all the people who've put 400 responses in with different emails, we should have a good picture of what the community thinks about that. I've not really looked at that yet because there's that many responses. We need to start putting that into a report in the next couple of weeks. And then I think that's it. I think that's the last one for now from the surveys. But it's been a really useful and interesting experience as well.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jill. And we'll definitely kind of share those reports, because I think obviously those, especially the loneliness and isolation one, I think that'll give some real insights that can help essentially with some of the funding bids as well that maybe some of our groups want to access. It gives a kind of picture of that, because I think obviously what we do is essentially kind of contributes to reducing that, you know, when you think of our activities that we do in our places and stuff. So definitely what I find interesting, and I do have to say that when we were reading them out, like people's responses to each other, we got quite emotional over one of them, and it's like, this one, and it's like, take the dog for a walk and what have you. And then when we realised it was actually Jill's response from when she was testing out the actual survey.
That's not lonely, I'm all right.
So we do test them, and then we forget we forgot we've tested them, and then when we read them,
quite upset.
She was reading her own response. So yeah, it just tells you, welcome to our world. Jackie, if you want to, you've got your hand up.
Just regarding the social isolation and loneliness, I just want to remind everyone about our Oasis group, which is every Thursday morning at United Reformed Church, 9 till 12. Anyone can attend. You don't need a referral. The people don't need to have received our community support service. And we've found that we've had people come that group who'd been socially isolated, some of them for years, and now they've developed friendships, they're going on holiday together. It's open to anyone. So nobody needs to contact me, just give the information to any of your clients at United Reformed Church every Thursday morning, 9 till 12. I'm here, or if I'm not there, there's another member of staff, so they can access support and signposting to other agencies once we get talking to them. If we find that they've got a housing issue or problem with the benefits, or even a health problem, you know, we can get them to one side, we have a private room, and we can signpost them to other relevant professionals and agencies. But just wanted to highlight that we're still there if anybody needs us.
Jackie, can I just ask you a question? How do you find that do people know about you for a while and it takes them quite a long time to come and actually walk through the door? How do they make that step from knowing about you to...
Right. Some of our new clients, it's word of mouth by people who come to the group. It's easier for us with our clients that we're supporting one-to-one, because that staff member who's supporting them will come along to the group with them. But we have had people just walk in off the street, and I think it's because we have a member of staff there, and it is a friendly group anyway, and I always get them to one side, any new group members, and see what their expectations are, see what their issues are, see what the problems are. But yeah, you're right, Jill. We don't get as many just walking in off the streets. It's mainly word of mouth, and my staff bringing clients. I mean, as you probably will, we've been going 16 years now, the group. And we've still got some of the original members that come week in, week out. We have people that drop into the group and then find they don't need us anymore, which is brilliant. But then we have other clients who come, and that's their only form of social inclusion, if you like.
Yeah, I was just, me and Annie were talking about it last week about how there's like a missing link somewhere in the communities, as if there should be like some sort of community link volunteers who would identify and help people to access places like that. And it could be something that we ask, like you said, people who've used the service and no longer need it but know the benefits of it, who could maybe these like community champion type roles. Not just young people, I'm on about we've been throwing ideas around that sort.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right, it's okay me telling everyone that it's the people who are not linking in with any of our services that we need to get to, and that's the problem, reaching out to them.
That's what's really come about from these surveys, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, thanks for that, Jackie. And I also would say is, I mean, we'll share everybody's contact details from today, if that's okay, in terms of your email addresses. And just get in contact if you've not been to visit Jackie and her group there, then make arrangements, go and see. And I think you're right, Jill. I think that's where we're seeing the success with some of our other projects. When we've got like mental health care navigators or healthy to home stuff, when you've actually got that person that supports that individual to make those steps into that kind of activity or extra support, whatever, it's a more of a successful connection than just giving somebody a leaflet and telling them to go visit, or to try and just kind of, give them the information to go when you got time, you go. I think you're right. It becomes a bit more positive when somebody can support them into that kind of connection. So definitely. I noticed there were 2 hands up. Rachel, you had yours, but it's gone back down. I don't know if you want to kind of come back in, and then we'll go to Kathy as well.
Yeah, it was just a thought, really. We organise jobs fairs for unemployed people that happen. So we've got one in Runcorn today, and we tend to have them in St Helens. We have them all over, and it was just a thought really as to, if you add surveys or you wanted to promote any of the services, is it worth maybe starting to attend them, and you could push the message out that way. And also we have a team here. We've got the National Career Service team contracts at the Chamber. So on a daily basis, we're dealing with unemployed people. Is there a gap that maybe we should be upskilling our staff here on some of them services that we could then refer into?
Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, I'll take you up on some of that, definitely, in terms of kind of coming and supporting some of your staff and giving them a bit of an overview into the sector and how they can connect into the different the different organisations.
Yeah, because they are fully booked every day with appointments, aren't they? So I'm just thinking as a chamber, do we need to be upskilled in some of these services as well? So then if it's necessary, we could refer in as well.
Brilliant. Yeah, because it almost comes back to that. There's a whole kind of piece of work, isn't there, about making every contact count. And it is that, and it's about, wherever we've got that connection, in whatever information is best being shared, then we need to just, if we've got more opportunity to give them that, then that's better. But we'll pick that up with you, Rachel, definitely. Yeah. That's really good. Kathy?
Thank you. I belong to the SVP. Now, the SVP go out to the houses and go out to people in the homes. So our members are, every week visiting people who need these services. And I'm just delighted to be online with you all to hear about all the different things that are going on in St Helens. We've now opened a shop in St Helens in Cambridge Road. And so if people would visit that shop, because that's where all our volunteers are at the moment, but they're also going out to houses and making sure that people have gas and electricity, because we're on the front line. And it'd be wonderful if our members had all this information, if I had some way of having all this information to put in my newsletter, because my newsletter, I do a big chunk on St Helens, trying to find out where our members can access funds, can access services. So I'm delighted to be part of this group. So if I could have everybody's names and, contact details, I can get in touch with you. And then I can give out any surveys or any, where we can help as the SVP. We're here to work together with everybody. So thank you very much. Please visit the shop, and if there's anyone wanting to volunteer in the shop, we're wide open for that too.
Kathy, that's brilliant. What we'll do, I'll connect you with our chap who, Dave Roberts, who runs our volunteer centre. Maybe they can look at promoting your opportunities to the wider kind of cohort of people who've registered on our database. I think it's right. If you're now connected into us as a member, so you will be getting our e-bulletins every fortnight, or you should. That's really a good place to kind of start getting that information around what services are out there, connecting to other organisations, certainly about what other foods out there. And also we very often put updates out there around the community food provision, what's going on in our local areas around the different meetings that you can connect into. So you or your volunteers can always kind of register on any of those activities. But we'll get Mike or Lynn to come out and have a conversation with you and make sure you've got everything that we can kind of possibly support you with in terms of making sure that's there, and vice versa. We've got all your information to kind of share with others as well. Right. So thanks for that.
And just to say, it's a lot of single parents that we're dealing with right now in St Helens who need a lot of help and support. So if we could bring all those services together, because I'm delighted with Home Start, I'm wanting to meet the people from all the different organisations face to face. I have to leave in 10 minutes, but thank you all so much. It's been great to meet you all.
Great, thanks to have you with us, Kathy. And Natalie.
Hi everyone, nice to see you all. I'm wondering, Annie, would it be beneficial to invite Nicola? So Nicola Doyle is the project manager for the Live Well directory, and this is going to be a St Helens directory, bringing all health, social, volunteers, housing, everything that you need within St Helens into one directory. Because at the moment we've got lots of, for example, in the council we've got at least 4 children's websites with directories on. So when people are overwhelmed with what's available, they don't know where to go. So the Live Well directory, which is going to be, it's in the preparation at the moment. Nicola's bringing everything together through a browser, a search engine. So whatever you're looking for, so for instance, single mum who's isolated, you put that into the word search, and that will bring up all the groups that are available in St Helens for a single mum to go and attend with a toddler, or maybe she needs some housing support, maybe she needs benefit support. So at the moment, Nicola is actually going around to all services, all businesses, private, public, statutory services, and bringing everything together into the one directory. it's still in the progression stages at the moment, but it's hopefully going to be launched, a testing launch in April 24. So as you can understand, it is a massive task, and even just sitting and listening to everybody here, what's available out there in the community, she's trying to bring it all together, and then we'll leave it to the professionals or the communities who will have access to the Live Well directory and will ensure the currency of the element within the Live Well directory. So I don't know whether that's something that would be welcome to this group, Annie, whether it be advantageous just for Nicola to give a little overview of what the Live Well directory is, the aim of it, and where the progress is so far.
I think when it gets a bit further on, I think that will be useful. I think at this moment in time, obviously, we're involved in those conversations. I've had a message off Nicola today to just try and kind of touch base. Because again, yeah, recognising that obviously, because that's not up and running yet. And there's obviously our directory on our website that we can obviously, a lot of our groups can search that. We have that searchable facility already, and that will be a link onto that Live Well directory. So I do think when it's further down the line and we've got something to kind of show or demonstrate, I think that would be really, really useful. And obviously we can kind of help make that conduit as well. So yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of, and we need to kind of bring to this group as well, to this forum to kind of share, which would be good to see what that overall kind of picture is going to look like. So definitely, I'm conscious of time, and I don't know whether Kathy, you've still got your hand up from before or whether that's a new one. I know Jill's still got a hand up, and we've had Elaine had a hand up. So if we can just go with those two. Oh, it's not Jill, it's yeah. So is that okay if we can kind of go with Elaine or Sam?
Sam first, please, and then can I just say to Kathy before she leaves, I live around the corner, and I'm going to come and see you and bring leaflets about the mobile food pantry and give you some other information that we do. Okay, right, Sam.
Sorry, so mine's just a little update. I have an event on the 12th of October in St Helens Chamber. It is an event to help, but you're all invited to. You can bring 2 members of your staff along to. My role as the Council Alliance Social Action Lead is to help you feel comfortable enough to have a conversation with your members, your clients, whoever your service users around cancer itself. It's to educate you on the signs and symptoms. It's to make you feel equipped to be able to hold a conversation with someone who may have just been diagnosed or has signs and symptoms. If you come to the event, it is very interactive. It's not heavy. I don't do things, as anybody knows me, super serious and boring. And the event will be interactive. There's lots of things you can get involved in. There's people doing talks, and you get a free lunch. Now, if you are interested in coming along, it's the 12th of October. It is 10 till 1. It is a networking event as well. So there's time for you to network with other organisations in the area, maybe get some possible links. You will come away with resources. You will come away with PowerPoint presentations for you to be able to present to your groups. So yeah, if you are interested, I have put the link in the chat.
It's at the town hall.
It's at the town hall. Yeah, it's free of charge as well for you. So get your butts down there and let's get lessening the amount of people who are approaching hospital at too late a stage, because I don't know whether you know, but St Helens has got one of the highest rates of people presenting too late at hospital with cancer. So what we're trying to do is reduce that. So the more education we have out there, the more people that we can equip to have conversations, the lower we can get that rate down, hopefully. So yeah, go to the link in the chat and then you can book on.
Thanks, Sam. Elaine, before we just kind of go out to everybody else.
Hiya, yes, thanks for that, Annie. I think I mentioned before about my role moving forward. My title's Head of Market Relationships, which people always comment is both sounds a little bit posh and a little bit vague, but I think up until now that responsibility has been for all of our contracted care providers in St Helens, but we're undergoing a bit of a restructure, which I'll go into a little bit more detail really. And going forwards, I will be leading on I'll be the key person along with a couple of members of a couple of officers who on the voluntary sector and also on co-production. So back in January time, we underwent a peer inspection in anticipation of the new CQC regime. And as part of that, whilst there was a lot of positive feedback, you know, I think there's a recognition that adult social care has been so integrated with health, which has brought really positive benefits, but that it didn't really have an identity of its own. So it's, you know, the pros and cons of that really. And also, I think because of a, you know, sort of a number of changes of personnel in the department and the pandemic, I think that our links with the voluntary sector had, you know, sort of not been as robust as what they have been previously or what they should be. So as a consequence of that, I think that's why they've you know, sort of asked me to lead on it. But we're about to launch a piece of work around co-production. We've got an independent organisation called Capacity, who will be undertaking a piece of work, reaching out to a wide range of different groups around co-production, obviously with the focus around social care really. So some of it will be is that we may be in contact with you around that, and also it might be useful that at various points, if I can bring to you where we're actually up to with that and provide updates around that. I think that would be really useful. So that's a bit about co-production. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that in terms of the co-production bit, Ben, I think Ben's left now, but Ben's also involved with that with myself. In terms of the other things I'm involved with, I'm part of the Skills Academy Development Group, and I know that we link into with colleagues from the Chamber. And what it is still in its infancy, you know, sort of I think my remit is to ensure that social care and the voluntary sector don't get lost, because it's a partnership across with colleagues from health. So, you know, so the local hospital trusts and the ICB. There's going to be a physical building with that at some point, and the intention is to provide recruitment and training opportunities. You know, we recognise that especially within social care and health, that there's a staffing crisis out there. But as part of that, the council have bought a e-learning programme for the next 13 months, and 100 licences have been allocated to the voluntary sector. Now, I know I've been linking in with Jill around this, and Jill's managed to get me some names for that. It's completely free of charge. There's over 130 courses on that. You know, so and you know that they can be anything from what we would class as mandatory health or social care courses. So, you know, whatever that is, manual handling or health and safety or whatever, through to those courses that are probably classed as a little bit more like personal development. But we have got 100 licences available out there if anybody wants to share that in their organisations, if they've got anyone who might be interested in, you know, sort of accessing a free e-learning.
Thanks, Elaine. And I know a couple of our staff have actually been on some training with that, so I know we've sent it out wide, so we'll continue to do that. But thanks for that feedback. Brilliant. So just a couple of things before we kind of open up. I'm conscious we've lost a few others as the day's gone on, as the morning's gone on. I just want to do a quick date for your diary. Save the date, which is the 3rd of November. We are bringing back our volunteer awards. They will be covering Halton and St Helens. We are in our 90th year, celebrating our 90th year as an organisation. So we thought, what what better than to celebrate it with also recognition of all the amazing volunteers that we have across both boroughs. It will be held at Saints, and all the nomination and guidance stuff will be coming out. So watch our Facebook page if you're not already on there, but equally so we will be sending out communications via our email networks for all of our members, which is great. I think the other things, there's nothing major that we want to kind of push in there. I have got stuff around health inequalities. I think I'm going to move that to the next agenda because we'll have more to update around that, just because there's a piece of work going on in St Helens that the loneliness and isolation survey that Jill's already mentioned feeds into. So I think once we've brought all of that together and we've got a bigger picture of some of the key things that they want to focus on, I think we'll kind of invite Ivar and potentially some of the people that's involved in the health inequalities work in St Helens together. I think the other thing is just to let you know that we have previously ran our star standard quality standard in Halton and St Helens. There was a period of time where we didn't necessarily do any further work on that because we didn't have capacity within our teams. We've done a piece of work now to refresh that quality standard and try and make it so a lot of it is self-guided online, and the only part that you will need some support from ourselves is at the end when it's submitted and you want it like kind of assessed externally in terms of being able to kind of say, yes, we've achieved the Star Standard Quality Award. And what it essentially is around looking at those basic foundations of your organisation that go a little bit further than if you was going to do a pre-qualification for a tender. So if you was going into contracts and tendering, you have to do a pre-qualification questionnaire, and it asks you things about what's your legal status, what's your insurances, have you got this policy, that policy. It does that and a little bit more essentially, because we ask for the evidence and we ask for how is that embedded. So it is very self-guided. You'll be able to do it online and upload your evidence in terms of your policies and your different documentation. And then when you're ready to submit, because you think you've met it all, then it's quite straightforward. So just watch out for that. We'll be doing some comms around that. And at the moment we are looking for it, even though there is a cost to attach to it, it will be fully funded. So it's not necessarily you will have to kind of make a financial contribution. It's a recognition that it is costed, but you can also get it fully funded as well. So that will be for all voluntary and community groups. And essentially, when you think about it, that will be the one kind of thing as we move forward. People who commission, so local authority, health and so on, will want to kind of be able to identify which are the organisations that they feel confident in, that they've got those things in place. So it's a well-managed, governed organisation. And that's having that star standard will be almost like that kind of standard essentially they'll look for. And it'll be an encouraging point for us to try and, as more money comes into the sector, it will be one of those things that we can kind of shout about and advocate that actually our sector isn't, it isn't. Yes, we might have volunteers and a lot of them might be run by volunteers, but it doesn't make us amateur. We're very skilled and we're knowledgeable about what we do, and our organisations are well managed. So this is just another way of just evidencing to commissioners the quality of the organisations that we have. And in addition to that, we are looking at just having an add-on element for those that works within mental health that talks around that experience of those accessing your services from a mental health kind of perspective, but we'll come to that at a later point. So there are just a couple of pointers I wanted to kind of bring to you really, and we won't focus on too much given that it's now 11:30. But I do just want to open it up to anybody else that's left with us, that's been managed to stay. I notice there's a few in there. Anybody kind of want to just kind of update and have it in the minutes or records around what's going on for your organisation? If you want to just give us a hands up. Michael, did you have anything from the reader? Did I read that in the message before?
Oh yeah, thanks, Annie. Yeah, I didn't. Apologies, I didn't mean to post that enormous, great long comment in the chat. So, or at least not at that particular moment. So apologies if that got in the way. But thanks. Yeah, just a chance to tell you a bit about what we do at the Reader. Some of you may know of us already. We're based in Liverpool and we set up shared reading groups. The Northwest is our main area, although we work all over the country. Shared reading is a chance for people to get together, read a great poem, story, and then talk about it. And then importantly, we talk about it in any way we want to. So it's not like school where there's set answers. It's not like a book group where you have to read the book beforehand and you never quite get around to reading it. You just turn up, enjoy each other's company, get into a poem. And some of you, especially if you're already readers, some of you might be able to guess the kind of impacts that have. It's a great way to escape, to get your mind onto other things. It's a great way to meet other people. It's a great way to just enjoy listening to a wonderful poem and let your mind drift into that, to imagine all of the things that are engaged through the poem. So we see all sorts of impacts from that, and we work with lots of different partners. We work in hospitals and care homes and libraries and community cafes and all sorts of different settings. We've got some groups in St Helens already, the wonderful Book Stop that many of you will know, at Peasley Cross Hospital and the Iris Ward, the Foundry Wharf. We're about to restart some of the groups in libraries as well, but we're looking for new partners of any kind, any description in St Helens. It might be that you have a regular group that running and you think shared reading could play a part of that. Oasis meeting, for instance, I can see some nodding going on there. I thought, oh, maybe we can play a role in there in some capacity. It might be you have a venue and you just think, well, we could host a group. It might be that you're in a position to signpost St Helens residents to an existing group. So you can't host one, but you might want to signpost to people to another group. We're open to all sorts of ideas, and anyone who wants to come to us and just say, look, I think shared reading might be able to play a role in what we do and help you achieve what you want to do, as well as for us to reach new people. So just drop me a line. Some of you I might get in touch with anyway, because I've heard you talk about what you do this morning. I might be proactively in touch with you, but if I'm not, always feel free to drop me a line, emails in the chat. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. That's great. Anyone else? And we had a couple of links in the chat. Does anybody just want to kind of join in and give us an update from their organisation? Sam, I think you've kind of mentioned you want to kind of share with us as well.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Sept and I work for Maximus UK for the Refugee Employability Program. It's a new program that launched on 4th of September. And is a program that is we're delivering on behalf of the Home Office to support refugee into employment. That I will be covering Northwest, so hopefully I might meet some of you when I'm out and about. And the program is to support the refugee because there is so many skills is just lost in the middle when they arrive to the country. So within the program, we will be supporting them if they have already skills and qualification from their home country to translate these skills, make it equivalent to UK, and try to help them to bridge the gap for them to get into employment if it's a vocational qualification. And I was hearing the excellent job everyone is doing, like for Chamber, it was one of the interesting things, so I will be linking with some of you. So it's about helping them to get into some maybe vocational qualification if that's something that they needed to get into employment in the field that they already have experience. So building on the skills they already have. Other things, we have language support, English language support. I'm talking about that. It will be like specifically related to their work-related English field. So, and they might be some of them who need ESOLs. So we are trying to connect with the community partner to try to get support with this kind of things. But other than that, like our English is not ESOL, so it is English language related to the vocational qualification or skills that is needed for the specific job. So we are based, at the moment we are attending all the refugee and asylum program across Northwest. and we are looking at venues across the area. So hopefully we might be based in one of the local community. I just contacted them on Friday, and I have feedback from them. They have availability one of the community centers in St Helens. So hopefully we'll have one of our case manager based there once a week, and I will feedback to you to let everyone know that like how you could ask for service. The website is very easy to follow. If anyone have someone who asks their service and they think they fit within our eligibility criteria, they can just refer them. So very simple like way of them to be referred by themselves, because the website is translated in different language. We have all our materials are translated into 5 main languages that is used currently by the refugees who are coming to the country. So hopefully that I share the link in the chat, and anyone feel free to navigate our website and see what we can offer.
That's brilliant. Apologies, Ibsam, because the sound, I don't know whether it was the same for everybody else, but it was almost like it was a bit of an echo. So I managed to pick up quite a bit. I don't know whether everybody else, but definitely the links there, and we'll make sure that's shared. And it'd be great if you do get to be located in one of the community centres, because obviously we'll definitely be seeing more from there. But yeah, just to say your sound on that one was a little bit difficult. I don't know whether there was a bit of an echo or whatever, but it was a little bit difficult to hear, but we managed to pick up some stuff. There's a couple of hands gone up, so I'm just going to go to Tom first, if that's okay, Tom.
Yeah, I'll just give you an update on my 2 roles. So I work at Shakespeare North Playhouse in Prescott as the volunteer manager. We do crossover with residents from St Helens. So we have our Chatty's Cafe scheme on a Wednesday and Saturday to kind of reduce social isolation and loneliness. We have about 15 people at them that attend each week. On a Thursday, we're just about to set up a games and jigsaw club, which has got everything from newer games to older games, but we'll have things like Jenga competitions and teaching how to play traditional board games, and hopefully trying to get Mario Kart on the giant TV screen in there as well. So we are looking for some student volunteers or young volunteers if you know anyone that might kind of suit the bill. We're just trying to increase our diversity at Shakespeare North Playhouse with our volunteers. Which kind of leads me on to my other thing, is we kind of have let me try and put the words. We have like a Friends of the Volunteers service. So this is kind of organisations that kind of connect with me to kind of get extra perks. So it's because I have a volunteer waiting list of 150 volunteers, which I can't kind of take on all of them. So I'm trying to swap them out with other organisations to see what we can do for each other. Because the worst thing is having a big waiting list of people that want to volunteer and I can't bring them on board straight away. So I want to kind of help pass them out.
You're very kind, Tom, but I can honestly say I think it might be something to do with the location that's attracted them there. So,
well, it's part of the location, and then
visiting and volunteering with us, there is a massive difference.
Well, yeah, part of it is the location, and I have very much a Disney philosophy for looking after volunteers. So it's very hard for them to kind of leave because they enjoy themselves so much. So kind of with our friends of our Shakespeare North Volunteer Service, it's things like if we've got performances that need some more bums on seats, then I will contact one of Willowbrook Hospice and say to their volunteer coordinator, you've got in 2 days' time, there's going to be 10 seats up for grabs for nothing. So can you send it out to your volunteers as a reward to say you've volunteered so hard? We've found you've got you some tickets for this performance. So we do a few things like that.
I'm sure people around here will probably want to connect with you if there's that offer going as well. Further ones, definitely.
Yeah,
recognizing that volunteers play a massive part.
Exactly, and we just, and it helps us because we get a bit more. Some people come come to Shakespeare North Playhouse that's not been before, especially if there's a free ticket going, that always helps. We also do heritage tour swaps at the moment, but doesn't really have to be heritage. So it's basically kind of a case of we go to another organisation with about 15 volunteers. They go and have a tour around whatever that tourist trail. It can be a trail now, because we do have like the Rotary Club that's launched their heritage trail in St Helens, and then they come and have a free one at Shakespeare North Playhouse. It's not something that's usually done, but I think outside the box. So we're doing it across Merseyside to increase local tourism. It could be something done with Luckham House, if they kind of have something that is quite similar that they've done for Heritage Open Days that they can transfer a bit. And it's just kind of, if we can do something like that, if it's the Rotary Club trail, and instead of starting off at Costa Coffee, they start off at Plan B Coffee Shop, then at least it's kind of more money going in the pot of local community organisations. So we're looking on things like that to expand a little bit differently. Then with my other hat, my Powered by Hip Hop UC crew, we're doing an event for Sporting Heritage Day on Saturday the 30th of September at the Old Heavenly Hills store in Church Square, which is opposite Clickworks. So we've kind of got like a little event on with different workshops, and all of our exhibitions of breakdancing from the 1980s till present day, because it's officially become a sport, as well as a culture and a dance that's in the Olympics next year. So that kind of helps a lot, and hopefully it's going to bring a bit more funding in my way. And then we're still looking for partner organisations for hip-hop projects, which can include breakdancing, graffiti art, and DJing workshops and murals. So we're always up for work with anybody. And that's it, Annie.
Brilliant, Tom. It's never boring listening to all the different stuff that you've got going on between organisations. So
it keeps me out of trouble.
You're never in trouble, Tom. Don't worry.
I'm too busy.
I know. Brilliant. Thanks for that, Tom. And Jill, we've got you down as well.
No, it's me again. So I'm officially taking off my CMCA hat and my HSBCA. It's too many letters in my life now. And I'm putting my other hat on. So I'm Sam from Sam's Diamonds Cancer Support, and we have an event at St Stadium on the 10th of November. It is not the same as the Halton St Helens VCA Awards evening, because theirs is for volunteers. Ours is for general public, for people who have gone above and beyond. If you know anybody in your community or in your organisation who has gone above and beyond and needs recognition, please vote for them on our website for this awards evening happening at St Stadium. Nominations need to be in by the 7th of October, and you can nominate them at www.samsdiamonds.org.uk. Anybody who is nominated will receive acknowledgement that they've been nominated for an award, and they will be shortlisted on the 7th of October and then invited free of charge to our event if they are successful finalists. Anything else? Let me just think. Yeah.
Is that related to supporting somebody with cancer or survival of cancer?
No, anyone
Anything?
at all. It doesn't have to just be about someone who's got cancer. Right. It could be anything. That's what I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you the name of the award. So you've got Young Person of the Year, 9 to 18, Superstar Award, 18 plus, Commitment to the Community, and Unsung Hero. So they're all the awards that are up for grabs. So yeah, if you know of anybody, please just visit our website and get them nominated as soon as possible, please. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. And a round of applause and 20 million brownie points to everybody for staying till 10 to 12. So you're all amazing. You're all on the leaderboard here in the office, is what I've got to say. But lovely to see some new faces today and some new contacts made. And always amazing to see people that we see several times throughout our week and our working life. So good to have you all with us. We're always here if you need any queries, any questions answering. I can't always guarantee I'll get back to you the same day, but certainly we've got a team of people here that we can kind of make sure somebody gets in touch with you if you do reach out. If you need that connection into what else is going on in the sector and you're not sure who's doing what where, and you need some support finding that, again, get in touch with us. And equally so, whenever, make sure you signed up for all our e-communications, because whenever we've got networks happening, forums happening, training, learning, funding opportunities, that's our primary kind of way of getting that information out to you, is through our e-contacts and again through our social media. So please make sure you're connected. And just to say thank you and enjoy the rest of the day. The next meeting that we have for the Voluntary Sector Forum is the 20th of November. That's a Monday. And I'll, at the minute it is online, but I might just cast a bit of a decision whether we try and get a face-to-face and get some actual networking face-to-face in the diary before the end of the year, which I think is always useful. So watch this space and hopefully you can join us. If you just kind of block that time out in your diary now, put it as a priority. And if for nothing else, just come and have a brew and a chat with us and our team. Is that all right? Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.